What's good, people? Another beautiful trading week just ended, and this week was full with a lot of amazing setup. I caught a beautiful trade on gold, on USDCHF and GBPUSD, and in this video I'm going to be doing a breakdown of all of those trades. I'm going to be showing you my thought process, how I was able to capitalize on all of these trades, and it's going to be full with a lot of gems. This week's video is going to be a bit longer than the usual because I realize if I put more time to explain some of the things I explain, you guys are going to gain more value from it. So if you learned something from it, make sure to give it a like, and if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, become part of the family. Anyways, see you guys in the breakdown. Yo guys, what's going on? Hope we're doing good. So in today's breakdown, I'm going to be doing a series of breakdown of all the trades I had this week. I had tons of beautiful trades this week, and I'm going to be doing a breakdown of them. I'm going to be showing you an inside view of how I was able to catch these trades live trading this week. Okay, so the first trade we all have over here is USDCHF. So USDCHF is one of my main pairs, followed by GU, and currently this week I was actually looking at gold too. So I'm going to be doing a breakdown of those three pairs. Okay, so the first one we had was on Monday. It was a beautiful trade, but sadly I got stopped out, but I'm going to show you that in a sec. So what you could see here is market structure. Okay, if you notice, in all of my videos I always talk about the importance of market structure. So pretty much over here, as you can already notice, the market has been bullish. Okay, so creating series of higher highs and higher lows, a bunch of them over here, here, and here. I would just consider this a lower low, right? And then price broke this high. So over here, this was the high that price broke, which I just annotated over here because of the weak closure and all of that. And if you notice, this last push, which is pretty much the demand that broke this high, was over here. So during the week, this was on Friday, price broke the high, which means this demand is currently valid. So what happened during the week, I think during Asia Sunday open, and on Monday price came into my zone. I normally trade from 9 o'clock, so price came into the zone, and what did it do? It gave me a confirmation, a beautiful confirmation entry. I got stopped out. Let's go to the 1 minute and I'll show you that in a sec. So before I got stopped out, it actually went to a reasonable amount, but the way I trade currently, I don't really set break even. I just let it ride, I just let it go, either stop loss or break even. So over here you could see the confirmation entry I always talk about. Right, price tapped into my zone, started to create a new structure, an internal structure. So that's what I went with. Over here, you notice it didn't came to my entry. I wasn't bothered. I just waited for price to come here. It took a while though. It took a while, went up, and then knowing you, chef, this happens normally. Like I'm not even bothered when I see all of this because I know that if the trade is gonna come, it's gonna come anyways. So over here, you could notice price came into the entry around one sec, around New York open. So it got tapped in, went to around 1 to 2 point something, I think. Over here, I'm gonna show you in a sec. Went to 1 to 2.6, pulled back, and then I got stopped out. Sadly, honestly I wasn't looking. If I was looking, probably I would have closed with a little loss, but I wasn't really focused on this because I think I was at the gym. Because these days I don't like to be on the chart too much because when you're there, your brain starts to look for other scenarios. But honestly, I was very, very bullish on the dollar. At least on Monday I was. So over here, you see, I got stopped out barely, and what did it do? I went to this target. I was actually looking at this zone, although normally I go for 1 to 3, but after 1 to 3, if I want, I could literally just be scaling in or just trailing my stop loss until price gets to my initial target. So over here, barely stopped out, went straight to TP around 7 a.m. the next day, which I could have easily held. But anyways, that's the first trade. It was a -1, and then on Tuesday I didn't get nothing. The next trade I had was on Wednesday. So going with structure over here, which I already annotated. So market was still bullish. Okay, so this was the last demand. This demand created a break of structure over here, and after that we have a new one. Okay, so over here price created let's just say a push, right? I was looking at this one. So this was the high. Pretty much I'll just go with this entire one high, and this was, okay, one sec, I think I missed something over here. So this was the push, right? The high, the low, and then this internal one, I didn't consider it. I didn't deem it worthy. If you notice, this week over here was too high above. So basically I counted all of this one as an entire push. Okay, and if you go to the 30 minutes, you're going to see it more clearly, because here I didn't consider it valid. This one was more decent, so this was my last demand. Okay, so over here the structure was broken over here, this entire push. Okay, so it was broken over here, and the last zone, the last demand was this zone. Okay, so on Wednesday, Tuesday I didn't get nothing. On Wednesday I was looking at this, and price cleared the low I wanted price to clear, which was this ATM low. Immediately clear that, I just go straight to the 1 minute. So since I'm trading the 15 minutes, normally I get my confirmation from the 1 minute. Okay, so over here I was looking London open, yes, with not London, because I trade from 9 a.m. So at 9 o'clock, 9:07, price cleared the low, and I was looking for my entry confirmation. And over here you see a low, a high, a low, a high. Immediately price breaks this high, I'm setting my limit. I don't even wait for nothing anymore, I just set my limit. Okay, so looking at this, immediately I got tapped in over here. If you notice, this trade was trying to do what the other one did, pretty much going to my target for a while, then coming back to stop me out. So but this one went to 1 to 2, right? Since I didn't care about the first one, I literally didn't care about this one too. When your risk is solid, or when you're risking appropriately, you're not over leveraging, you don't get bothered by these things. So that's why risk management is also very important. Okay, so over here I got tapped in, and price came back after 1 to 2. I was observing this one, I was actually looking at it live, but then boom, started to rally. Okay, started to rally, and I was aiming for 1 to 4. If I go to the 15 minutes, you're going to see this better. I actually posted this on my IG. Actually, before it happened, I posted it. So maybe I might show a picture here too, but I don't think it's necessary. Just follow me on IG, and these days I tend to post most of those trades. Okay, so over here price cleared the low, I got my entry, went to 1 to 2, came back to entry, and then started to fly. My target was around this high over here, but since I was watching live, I just closed around 1 to 4. And the cool thing about this was, when after I had this trade, I was still on my chart. I just came here. I think I was making a video for the academy. Speaking of academy, if you want to learn more about how I trade, just comment below or send me a DM on IG, and we can talk about that, because I'm currently mentoring some people, so you can become one of my students. Okay, so over here price gave this entry. I saw a potential with entry, so that's what I actually did over here. And if you notice, price created a push. It did broke the structure, so the last demand would be somewhere here, right? But overall, I was looking at some other zones, because I felt price was not going to come to the demand. But anyways, if he had come to the demand, I would have been able to take the trade too. So I had this gap zone over here. So immediately price tapped that gap, I looked to it, we enter. I actually posted this on IG. So immediately that happened. Wednesday was brutal. I'll show you something similar on GU very soon. So immediately price that happened. I was looking at a new zone. So immediately price tapped into the zone. This was the low, this was the high, this was the low, this was the high. Immediately price broke it. I got in. Like literally, I got back in. I almost got stopped out. Okay, but it is what it is. And at 8 o'clock, there was FOMC, or some Powell was speaking. I think it was Powell, yeah. And at 8 o'clock over here, if you see the spike, this happened during FOMC, or the last Powell speech. I think they said that's his last speech, because I think Donald Trump fired him. Anyways, so pretty much this was the trade. Price rallied, tried to come back to entry, didn't, and then I went straight to TP. Pretty much the same high I was targeting. I wasn't trying to be greedy though. I just targeted the high, get my 1 2 3, and I was done. So Wednesday was just brutal. Like it was crazy, crazy, crazy. And over here, yeah, pretty much just this, all of this. And on Friday, I didn't get nothing, because price didn't clear the high I wanted it to clear. I was looking for sales actually, because structure changed. If you notice, low, high, price broke this high, right? Low, high, price broke this. So this is the last one, and this is the last demand. So what happened over here? Price faked out, pulled back somewhere here, and then broke structure over here. So technically, I was looking for sales, but I didn't get nothing on Friday. So moving on, I'm gonna go straight to GU, and I'm going to show you something similar. So pretty much, if you know the way correlation works, if GU is going up, USDCHF tends to go down, so they're negatively correlated. Okay, so pretty much USDCHF is pretty much DXY. If you know, I actually have DXY over here, right? They move negatively. So GU on the other hand was also on Wednesday. So I was looking at the market. First of all, in the morning, I was waiting for price to give me. First, it was still bullish. So USDCHF switched bearish, but GU was still bullish. So I was waiting for GU to switch because they move negatively. Okay. So over here around 8 a.m. I had the low. I was waiting for price to take this low. So when price broke it, then it switched structure for me. So we became bearish over here. We became bearish. So if you see over here, this was where I became bearish. So the similar entry I had on USDCHF, I had the same thing, the same time. I didn't get the first trade on GU, but I got the second one, which was pretty much the re-entry on USDCHF over there. So over here, price book structure. So I was looking at this supply, and also I was looking at this gap zone. So immediately price came back, right? I got into the 1 minute again, and I got my confirmation, and I was like, we all in today, we're just gonna try to catch as much as we can, because not every week is like this, but some weeks like this are just beautiful, and you need to take advantage of them. Okay, so over here, what do we see? A tap into the zone, a low, a high, price broke the structure, and then we get in. Set your limits right above here, and the rest is just history. If you notice, the FOMC thing happened somewhere here, right? Try to come back into entry, and before you know it, GP, that's pretty much 1 to 3 easily. Okay, so my entry confirmation is literally the same on all time frame. I've been trading for 5 years, and I've simplified my trading to the extent that when I come to the screen in few minutes, I already know what I'm looking for. I don't need to be here stressing, going to the daily, going to the weekly, going to the yearly for what, bro. I already studied all of those things. So I simplified it, and that's what I'm trying to pass on to my students, to be honest, because there's no need, there's no need. You're still just gonna catch 1 to 3. So why stress over the daily, the yearly, just to catch 1 to 3? Anyways, I will keep going. So hopefully you got this breakdown. I'm gonna move on to this one. I was looking at this on Thursday, and this was actually a stop loss. Let me show you over here. So over here we switched to bearish, right? So this is the low, this is the high, this is the low. And over here I did notice this though, because price swept this low, right? You could call it a liquidity grab over here. Price swept this low, and I was looking at this zone. First, I was looking at this one because this is the last supply zone. So I got a confirmation over here, and I got stopped out. It went to 1 to 1 ish, and then I got stopped out. It's just part of the game. Then on Friday, I didn't get a trade, just like the other one USDCHF, because price didn't clear the low, so I wasn't really looking at it. So pretty much this was a +3 and a -1 for Thursday. Why for USDCHF, that was I had 2 TP over there, no stop loss, which was one stop loss. So pretty much 6 minus. I'll just go there 1 sec. Okay, so I'll just show you something. So over here, this was a -1, and this was a +4, and this was a +3. So this plus this, that's 7, -1, that's 6. So pretty much I'm up around 6, 7, 8, 9, -1, that's 8 hours so far. And I'm going to show you some trades on gold, the one I had this week. Actually, I had one yesterday, which was Friday, and it was just beautiful. Okay, it was beautiful. This one, I was waiting for price to clear this ATM high before giving me this. It didn't happen, but the trade just melted down. I was just watching. I'm like, God, why? Okay, but it's all good. Like next day, I got this one, so I'm going to be doing a breakdown of that right now. So as you can notice over here, I used the 50 minutes. So this was the last lower high. Actually, gold switched bearish. Okay, if you notice, doing all of this process, the market switched bearish. Okay, so over here I was looking at this last supply. Price came in, immediately price broke over here. You can see price broke here, came back in, and started to drop. I wanted it to come here a little bit higher to give me my entry confirmation, then take it down, but it gave the entry confirmation here and just started to melt. So I didn't catch this trade. This was on Tuesday. And on Wednesday, over here, I was just looking at structure. I think this happened on Thursday. So on Thursday, as you can notice, high, low, high, low, high. So far, right? This is the last low. This is a fake out, and price never actually confirmed over here. Price, this was not a valid pullback for me, so I was still looking at this zone for me to take price down. Okay, so over here, I got a confirmation entry. I don't want to go back into the 1 minute to show you this, but I just got my confirmation entry and I took this. Actually, I didn't take this one, to be honest. I was focusing on GU, but this one I did take live, and I'm going to show you this one. If you probably, I'll just put a screenshot because I haven't been posting screenshots lately, but I probably might just post a screenshot to show you guys that I actually took this trade. Anyways, I'm going over here. What you could see that, so the way I caught this, I was focusing on the 1 hour. Let me go to the 1 hour. So I noticed that what did I notice? So I noticed that market was still bearish. Okay, this is the low, this is the high, this was the low, this is the high. Price faked out over here, right? I normally call this, I was just looking at some structure, it wasn't valid. So price faked out over here. I'm gonna do that real quick. Price faked out over here, right? So faked out, broke structure. I need a pullback to confirm bullish. That's what the whole fake out is all about. Okay, so over here, price faked out. What was I looking for? I was still looking for sales over here. That's how I caught this trade, right? But on Friday, what did I notice? I noticed that price broke this trend line. We're going to liquidity concept and all of that. I noticed that price broke this trend line and then it was reacting from this demand zone. This demand zone actually broke the structure, which created a fake out. Okay, technically I'm still bearish structurally the way I view things, but on the other hand, I saw this for price to go back and confirm bullish, it means it has to break this structure, and for price to come here, it needs to start a movement from here to get there, right? So price is currently here and I want price to clear this high. So if I get a potential trade to catch this, to take this high, wouldn't that make sense, right? So what I was looking at, I saw this on around 10 o'clock in the morning. I was like, yo, I think I might get a trade from here. So I was just looking, and I got a confirmation. So I went to the 1 minute, to get my confirmation over here. So I'm just gonna show you real quick before we hop on to the next. So over here, I got a confirmation. So I was looking at this entire zone. None of this, I wasn't paying attention to this. I wanted to see a clear sweep. So price actually cleared all of this low. I was like, okay, probably we might get something, because gold was just showing sign of rejection. It was actually just consolidating over here. If you notice, it was melting heavily, broke that trend line, and then it started to consolidate. I was like, what is this guy trying to do? So anyways, over here there was a low, there was a high, and there was a low. Immediately price broke this over here. I was looking for buys, honestly. I was looking for buys, and I sent a screenshot to a friend. I was like, I was looking at this zone. So what happened was price broke it, and then I set my limit. I didn't set my limit over here because I was still a little bit skeptical. Should I take this trade or should I not take this trade? Because technically I'm still counter trending because price is still currently bearish. Okay, so price did that. I didn't tap in. I didn't go tapping there. Later I just used market execution and I got in over here, the same entry zone. So price didn't leave me behind. So immediately I did that, price started to fly. It literally started to fly later, though it took a while. Then I just went to the gym. I was watching it right at the gym, so it took a while and price went to TP. So I will show you something. I did scaling, although I did scaling to this trade. So if I show you over here, I was looking at this ATM high. So when I woke up, I was looking for sales, okay? And then I wanted price to clear this ATM high. It didn't clear it yet. So that's one of the reasons I was also anticipating a buy to get to this zone mostly, okay? This ATM high. So what happened here? When I was in the trade, price tried to take this ATM high over here. It didn't. So immediately I saw this and I started to see a rejection back. I'm like, yo, price is gonna take this ATM high. And what did I do? I went to the 5 minutes to get a re-entry. So over here, I got in again. So if I'm to do this just real quick over here, this was what I was looking at over here. So the rejection zone for me, wait, I have so many things on the screen. It's better, man. Okay, give me a sec. I'm gonna do that again. So I was looking at this push. Great. So over here, so I was looking at this zone. I was anticipating price to come here and give me an entry. So what I did was I got back in here, and my stop loss was very close to here. So basically, if price to come back, I just get a B on this and then I lose the initial amount I was risking. So that's what I was aiming for. And this I was aiming for around 1 to 1-ish. So, and this I actually moved my TP because I was convinced gold was gonna fly for some reason. I mean, a good reason, I guess. So I was looking at this in zone here. The same thing I just did on the 5 minutes. I did it on the 15 minutes to get a potential TP over here. So I did this. So I moved my TP here. Boom. I moved this TP, all of this TP. This one was also here. I think my stop loss was not this big anyways, but I'm just gonna do that real quick. So over here, so I set my TP there because I was thinking if price is gonna wanna drop, it has to come to a valid zone. It has to either come to a gap or it's gonna come to this supply. Okay, so I did that and price literally just flew to TP. I was like, okay, very great. And mind you, when price got to this zone, I was looking for sales, but I got the confirmation, but it was market close. I was like, no, I'm not gonna take this. So potentially what gold could do next week is price could literally just come here. If it breaks the structure, if you notice, it didn't close above, so technically I'm still bearish, right? So if price starts rejecting heavily from here, if it actually comes below here, I probably might be looking for sales. But so far, I have no theory on where gold is going to or where USD is going to until later today or Monday. If I see the way the market is moving, I will definitely know. But technically, what I can actually see is for USHF so far, I think price might actually come for this trend line. Price might come for it, barely, I don't know, but it might. I don't like to predict, but what I see so far is that is very, very possible anyways. So over here, so yeah, that's the breakdown. To be honest, I think I've spent a lot of time on this, and I feel it's actually full with a lot of gems. If you take notes from this video, you're literally going to make some improvement to your strategy. Maybe you've been lacking something. I really hope the video was able to clarify some of the things, you know. So anyways, guys, that's the breakdown for this week. If you learned something, make sure to give it a like, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Let's become a family. Thank you for watching this one. See you in the next one. Bless.